anything, all you have to do is write all the symbols in balance, right? So how do we write nickel 3? Okay, and where'd you put the 3?
Put in parentheses.
So I write Ni, whoops, make that thinner. So you write Ni with the 3 where?
It's like a little at the top, kind of like an exponent.
Like this?
Yes.
Okay, are we doing anything with it?
Not yet.
Okay.
No.
Do you have to put in parentheses or no?
Can you just
We're not doing
even write
anything
it?
with it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even write it because it's an element by itself. Is it one of the 7 diatomics? So do you need it?
Not yet.
You don't need it at all. It's an element. It's not one of the 7. You don't crisscross it. You don't need it. I wouldn't even write it. Plus oxygen. Is it one of the 7?
Yes.
So what would I do to it?
Put that 2.
I'd put a 2 on it. Both of those are elements. So I wouldn't put anything on them unless they have a subscript, and I'd write their 2s. But I would put no oxidation numbers on them at all. Okay? Absolutely nothing. Now, for this, that's a compound. So what am I going to do to it? There I'm going to crisscross. So Ni has a 3. Oxide has a what? So now I will crisscross and bring my subscripts down. Okay? Does that make sense? Yes or no?
I'm a little confused.
Okay. Where are you confused at?
I'm only confused because so yesterday on homework, one of them had the oxidation number in parentheses because there's more than one.
Right. So I had to tell you which one to use in that equation.
Okay.
That's why I did it that way. I just need to tell you which one to use. If I don't tell you, let's say on a quiz, I would allow you to use any of them and I would grade it with any of those oxidation numbers and I would not take off.
That works.
Okay. So for example, one worksheet I have I just wrote carbon and carbon has a 2 and has a 4. I would let you use either one and I would grade the equation with either oxidation number. Okay. But in that case, I want you to use a particular one. Now, is the equation balanced? No. So we need to balance it. So we're going to put a 3 there, a 2 there, and a 4 there. All right. And number 2, what are we doing here? You're always balancing. Okay. So in number 2, what are we doing here? This was our homework last night. Did I give you this side of the equation? No. So what do you have to do? Find the oxidation number. So Ni is a what?
3.
So plus 3. Chlorine is a what?
-1.
And barium is a what?
Plus 2.
So which elements are switching here? Ni and Ba because they're both positive, right? So Ba is going over here. Ni is going over there. So Ba is now going to be with who? And Ni is going to be by itself. Now, do any of the subscripts come across the arrow? No, because nothing over here is a polyatomic ion, right? So, new oxidation numbers, because this is a compound. Plus 2, minus 1, bring our 2 down. Nickel is by itself. If nickel is by itself, does it get anything? Why not? It's not one of the 7. So I'm going to get rid of these oxidation numbers. Now, balancing it, we need a 2 to make 6, a 3 to make 6, 3, and 2. Now, the last 2, I just asked you the types. What type is number 3?
Single displacement.
Okay, element plus a compound. We got an element plus a compound. What's number 4? That's correct.
What do you do if, like, so number 2, the CL has a subscript of 3? Like, when you backwards crisscross to figure out which one you're supposed to do on the right side, what do you do if it's a number other than what's on the table?
If it's a number other than what? What's on the table?
Like, I think it happened last night. Maybe I just did it wrong. But like,
Okay.
chlorine had, like,
Let's look at that one when we get to it, and I'll answer your question when we get to that question. Okay? It'll probably be easier there. All right. All right, let me get rid of that. Let's go to Homework answers. Let's do the types because I don't have that worksheet. I've lost it electronically somewhere in cyberspace. It's gone forever. So let me call out those answers. The max copy. All right, and then we'll do the predicting. All right, so we looked at the types. Number one. What type is number one? Oh, I need to see homework. Alex. Let me get Alex homework right down real quick. That's the other one. Yes. All right. Number one you said was what? Synthesis. Your homework. Show me in it. All right. Number two, double displacement. Number three, synthesis. Number four, single. Number five, decomposition. Number six, double. Number seven, number eight. All right, we got some section in number eight.
That's CA.
That's Ca, which is a metal. It's not a hydrocarbon. Plus water is not oxygen. Okay. So even though it looks sort of like it for a lot of you, it's not combustion. It's an element plus a compound. You don't get CO2 plus water, okay? That is not combustion, it's single displacement. Number 9, synthesis. Number 10, double. 11, single. 12, synthesis. 13, that is synthesis. There's no plus sign on the right. And number 14, decomposition.
None of them were combustion.
None of them are combustion.
So what elements are compounds are in there?
Huh?
What elements are compounds are in there?
You have to have carbon and hydrogen to start with. You add just O2, and you get CO2 plus water. All right. Take your answers on the evens. See if you got them right. Now, the only thing that can be different is it doesn't have to be in the same order. So if you had F2 plus 2NaCl, that's the same answer. Okay? Now, what's not the same answer? Can you have ClNa? No, because that would have the negative element before the positive element. Can you write the negative before the positive? No. Okay? So when you're checking, if I wrote the products in a different order than you did, that's okay. All right, Mark, Alex, and Lolly here. Did either of you come on a late bus? You did? Okay. Alex, that's a no for you. Okay. And Caroline, do you see the one you were talking about that you want to ask about?
But I just know that like the number you were supposed to like move back was not on the chart.
Okay, then you use the number that was in the equation. You don't worry about what was on the chart necessarily. Now you just use whatever was in the equation. It might be in the double displacement, but you use whatever was in the equation. Can we check what's there, or do I need to wait a little longer? Okay. Anybody still checking? All right, so here are the remaining ones. And they're a little smaller, I know, but number 12 had to be small to get them on there. All right, we got a chance. Which ones do we need to do? You don't need to do any? Really? Number 5? Okay. All right, so number 5. Now, this is the one that Diamond was talking about before when I put the little +3 right here beside it. The only reason I put the +3 there is because iron has more than one oxidation number, and I needed you to know which one to use, okay? So when you look at this, all right, sometimes I might do that, but it's rare that I'm going to do that, okay? So when you do this, look at iron. If I don't give you more than one or an oxidation number there, you're free to pick whichever one that I give you. Do you have homework, Jada? Yeah. Okay, I need to see it. So lithium has a +1, carbonate has a -2, and iron has a +3. So who's switching, Devontae? Li and iron. Now, notice I drew parentheses around the CO3. CO3 is a polyatomic ion. How did I know the 3 was part of the CO3? Yes, so I looked on the sheet, and I saw the 3 was a subscript. It wasn't an oxidation number at the top, but the 3 was at the bottom, which is how I knew it was part of the polyatomic ion. So when I switch the Fe and the Li, that 3 gets to come across the arrow because it's part of the polyatomic ion. The 2 does not get to come across the arrow, okay? Only the 3 does because that 3 is a subscript on that polyatomic ion. Does that make sense? Okay? So this is a compound. So what do I have to do for the compound? For this compound, what do I have to do for it now that I've put those two things together? Yep. So that's a +3 because I told you that. That's a -2. So 2 comes down and 3 comes down. And then Li is by itself. So you ask yourself what? Is it? So you don't do anything then. Okay? And then all you have left to do is balance. And we would have a 3 there if you want it balanced, and a 6 there, and then a 2 there. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Can you do 3 and 7?
Sure. And number 3, again, you have a polyatomic ion, and its oxidation number is -1. That 2 came from lead, and Na is a +1. So who's going to switch?
The NaPb.
Okay. So Na is going to be with the NO3. And just like I told Devontae, that 3 is in the parentheses. It's part of the polyatomic ion. So it comes across the arrow. This 2 does not get to come across the arrow. Okay? And then Pb is by itself. Since this is a compound, look up the oxidation numbers. Those cancel. Pb is by itself. Is it one of the 7?
No.
Yes, nothing. So get rid of those. Get rid of those. Balancing, I have 2 NO3s. So I'm going to put a 2 there. That makes 2 NAs. And the PBs are good. And you said 7? Okay. So 7 has same concept, same exact polyatomic ion. You have NO3, which is in parentheses. So -1, lead is still a +2. +1, -1. So again, the only number that can come across the arrow is that 3 that's in the parentheses. Nothing else can come. So K and PB are switching up. So K is going to be with NO3, and PB is going to be with Cl. Okay? So, looking at that, K and NO3 will have -1s, so they're going to do what? Cancel out. PB will be +2 and -1, so the 2 will come down.
With both those I wrote it, but I just started to balance them off.
Okay, so if I get rid of these numbers, and then get rid of these. All right, we have 2 NO3s. So I'm going to put a 2 there. 2 Ks, so 2 Ks, 2 Cls, 2 Cls, 1 PB, 1 PB.
Wait, what was the answer? I got 1, 2, 2, 1.
And that should be the answer.
Maybe I check. Okay.
It's okay. I needed the practice. I'm getting old. Getting a little rusty. That should be there. Else around the butts. Yep.
When are we doing our lab?
We're going to do it. Given I have to be out so much next week, we're going to do it the following week. Because I have to be out Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, and then Friday is all chopped up. And given I will just be coming back on Thursday, and we need to talk about free lab stuff and how to do a lab report, and then Friday is jacked up with 2 assemblies, the assembly and the pep rally because it's homecoming. Yeah, it's homecoming week. So I'm bumping it into the following week.
Are we always going to do something?
Only supposed to hurry.
I'm
not up. So I have to keep that.
Oh, wait, we're
Yeah, homecoming court in the morning, and then that's next Friday. Yeah.
Wait.
So that's why we have to bump it into the next week. And benchmark is that week also. So we'll do a lab report and benchmark that week.
I'm not.
And I count benchmarks for a grade because I make out the benchmark. Okay?
Wait, so we're going to have 2 tests?
No, that will be only one test next week. The other test is the following week.
And then do we have
Oh yeah, that other test could fall that week too.
Oh my god.
Because it's really, I won't teach much before we take that test. So that's conceivable there could be 2 tests that week. Yes, and a lab report. All right, any other questions? All right, we're ready for the quiz?
Yeah.
Quizzes on word equations. You don't have to predict anything.
Like writing something about
The quiz is like word equations. You don't have to do any predicting. The quiz was like the first one in the opening. Like nickel plus oxygen. Goes to nickel 3 oxide. Like that. I gave you everything. Yeah, you got to balance it after you write it. No, you don't get extra credit for balance. That's required. But you don't have to predict anything. Now you're just being whiny. All right. I'll even be super nice, and you can use your own oxidation sheet. Use your notes. Look, I am not crazy. I'm nice. Let's use your own oxidation sheet.
Thank you so much.
You know the acids on that? Honestly, I don't remember. Could be. I have no idea.
So this possibly.
It could be very useful. I have no idea. I don't remember.
I know.
Well, you forget after you take it.
I know.
I just grabbed one and a copy of it 3 days ago. So I can't remember. All right. Does everybody have their oxidation sheet?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Now, the little lines are for you to tell me the type of reaction.
I knew it.
I know.
You can abbreviate. You didn't know both worksheets. You better not tell me you don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I can give her worksheets. She does know. She probably won't claim
Oh,
she
yeah,
does,
that's super.
but all of the videos for class are posted on the website. So she can keep up with class every day.
Okay.
Because
I'll check with the videos on the website.
they're on the school website. Can't remember. Was she here yesterday? Not yesterday, the day before.
No,
I know she wasn't here yesterday. Was she here? Yesterday was Wednesday. Was she here on Tuesday?
Oh crap, I didn't even have to.
I know she wasn't here yesterday. I don't, I see her, but she.
Y'all hush. Take the quiz. I think so. I'm gonna check, see if we have any plans. And if we don't, let's see, third period. Don't today. She was here Tuesday, so she doesn't get that. So this quiz. Well, rolled over it. Keep it in here in case it gets cold.
And you never know.
And I can't send because that's a carousel. Send this. Tell her I don't know how much of this we will get to. I know we will get to this. This we do. Wednesday and Thursday. This would be Wednesday. This would be Thursday. She probably won't actually watch it, but she can take notes and she can watch everything that we're doing under that.
Okay.
You're welcome. All right, Jada can do it. Max, can I give you one? I didn't mean to. You can give that back to me. I did not mean to hand you a paper.
Miss Wall,
Yes,
do you have a module Macintosh?
I do.
Can you send her to the office for a moment, please?
Sure, she's taking a quiz right now. Will she be long?
And Ms. Curry was requesting her.
Okay,
Thank you.
welcome. Maybe you're still working.
Miss Wall,
Yes,
can you send Alex Locke to the office? He's signing out.
sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I know you are still working. Y'all need to put finishing touches on. I'll give you about 3 more minutes. How about now? I don't tell you how many more you got. All right, while Devontae's finishing, the rest of your patch papers are.
Oh.
All right. Time to do. Let's start combustion.
You can't go 30 seconds without coughing.
All right. Now, we've learned to do 2 of the 5. We've learned to predict products for. Nothing about that? We're not. We'll stick you in the back. Huh? Like there. If the chorus is singing to you, you just might listen to them. All right. So we talk about combustion. Okay. This is the one I always think is the easiest, but for some people, it doesn't present itself as the easiest. Okay. Now, the reason I think it's the easiest is because you don't have to do anything. We know from our discussion yesterday that it's a hydrocarbon plus oxygen, right? And what do you always get? You always get CO2 plus water. The problem people have is they have to recognize that it's a hydrocarbon, okay? So, if you have something like C2H6 plus oxygen, you have to recognize that this is a what? You have to recognize that's a hydrocarbon. All right? That is a hydrocarbon. How do you know that that is a hydrocarbon? It only has C and H. Okay? Now, sometimes the hydrocarbon has really low subscripts. Like I picked one right there that has a 2 and a 6. Most people who look at this and go, it's an element and a compound. If it's an element and a compound, it has to be single displacement. When they start down that single displacement path, what's the first thing you need for single displacement? It's the first thing y'all need last night in your homework if you did single displacement. Oxidation numbers, okay? And they go, okay, that's a -2. Yeah, and they go 6 and 2. All right, can hydrogen be a -2? No. And then they start questioning themselves, okay? Or if you have a hydrocarbon, let's say like C4H10 plus O2. That one's pretty easy. But then when you get C4H10, things really start to get squirrely. Then people are like, what are the oxidation numbers there, Miss Wall? Okay, because I've already told you what's the biggest oxidation number we're doing this semester? 7. So then they look at 4 and 10 and they're like, I don't know what the oxidation number is. That should start to set off alarm bells in your head that you have gone down the wrong path. Is there an oxidation number greater than 7 that we're doing? I'm not setting you up, okay? You've gone down the wrong rabbit hole here. It's not single displacement. You don't need the oxidation numbers, so you've made a mistake. You don't need any oxidation numbers here. So if you're trying to find an oxidation number and you can't figure it out and you get to those giant numbers, stop what you're doing and backtrack and go, whoa, I have the wrong type here. What type could it be? Okay, so the type that it's going to be is combustion. So once you've determined it's combustion, what are the two products? All you have to do is write CO2 plus H2O. There's no crisscrossing. There's no figuring out anybody. You just write it down and you're done.
Hold up, wait, something we don't see right here. Yesterday, you said that every other one was going to be more difficult.
I'm getting ready to show you something that's even more fabulous than this.
But we still balance that.
Yeah, we still got to balance it. Yes, there. You still have to balance it. Okay, so how many C's? We put a what here? How many H's? So we put a what here? So how many O's is this? How many here? That's how many total. So we can't get 7. So what do we learn to do? Okay, so I'm going to erase this. Okay. So I'm going to put a what here now? Because I made 4 C's. I made how many H's? 12. So I'm going to put a what here? Okay, so let me redo my math. So I made how many O's?
8
Plus
6.
8 plus 6 is?
14.
So I put a what?
7.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Can I finish my please?
After Devontae finishes in the bag. All right, so questions. Now, I want you to all find your blue stapled charts. Your blue stapled reference tables. I want you to pull them out.
Oh, reference things we don't use in ever?
Yes, we're getting ready to use them a whole lot.
Oh, no.
Now that we've taken the quiz on types, I think it's on page 6. Can't swear to that. Turn to page 6. See if I'm right. Now you can finish your quiz now that Devontae's done. On my desk. Under my phone. All right, tell me what's on page 6. Does it have some types of reactions at the bottom? Fabulous. Now, let's say for a moment that Lolly is having a bad day like she was this morning with the whole bus thing. And so she's stressed out. And she has a moment and she forgot the products for combustion. She looks at the bottom of page 6. What does it say at the bottom of page 6?
But do we get to use this all the time?
What did I tell y'all on day 1?
I really can't remember.
I should just let y'all go around blindly fumbling around. Y'all don't listen to anything I tell y'all. You get this chart on the exam. You get this chart on every quiz and test other than the one you just took because I was checking to see if you knew the types. Now that I've checked to see if you know the types, you get it on the test. So even when I ask the types on the test, you still have this chart. Okay? So if you forget the products for combustion, you can do what? Look on page 6. Okay? If you forget the types, you can look on page 6. Now, single displacement and double displacement are there also. So let's say that you have NaCl plus MgBr2. You can certainly look under double displacement, and it has AB plus CD. And what does it tell you? A what?
AB plus CP.
Okay. Now, you can follow that. A, D. C, B. Plus 1, minus 1, plus 2, minus 1, if you would prefer. Okay?
Wait, is that double displacement?
It's just 2 compounds.
So is it replacement or displacement?
It's the same. Doesn't matter which one you use. Some books call it replacement. Some call it displacement. Depends on the author. I will use them interchangeably. Okay? I don't know which version you will see on the exam. You get this chart on the test. Will it be the exact same? Yes. Will it be that copy? No. They will give you a new copy on the exam. Okay? It'll be on that normal test paper y'all are used to, that you used to get in elementary school before they all went online. Okay? Yes. What did I just say? You get it on every test. Okay? Now, let's say for a moment that you have Ca PO4 3 2 plus I don't know. Let's go Ag. Let's do all right. Why don't you do those three real quick? Then we're going to start decomposition. Okay? Nope. I want to change the top one. I want to change the last one. Start at the top. Now I'm happier. I like that better. Yeah, now I'm happier. Today. Good Lord. Come on. Two of mine. Yes. How about that? Okay. First thing you got to do is figure out if it's single double or combustion. Okay? That's the first thing y'all have to do before you can predict the product. So what is the first one?
Single.
Okay. So do what you did last night for homework once you know it's single. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was by itself. You need not start. Yes, so it's one of the. It's not, so you don't really you just crisscross. That's correct. You get the same answer. Correct. All right, who else has a question?
If the oldest part of a compound, do you put it to still?
If the what?
Like from the, like oxygen,
Yeah,
since I'm switching these two.
yeah.
So would I put a subscript here since it's an L? With if it's only.
Only if it's alone. Yes, then check the balance and go predicting is correct. But at this point, I'm just sort of assuming y'all can balance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's right. Needs to be balanced. It's written right. And remember when I told you very few of you would be stuck with equations that needed to be reduced? If memory serves, there was only one person who didn't reduce.
What is me? Okay.
It was me, but I had it by race.
Yeah, there was only one person who had anything that needed to be reduced. That's why I said most of you are not going to write something that needs to be reduced.
We need some. I need you to talk about this stuff.
Let me do one more set and then we'll go over what you got.
Sorry. We'll be off.
Yes, you're right.
I'm gonna do it. I've always.
How many rows of
All right, now.
It's easy. I wanted us to work on it, but I had practice.
Over to.
So I used to.
Taken away, I have to attend every day.
We have a.
This is combustion. You just write CO2.
You know what Yennefer is?
Oh my gosh.
She works on that. We always work together. She's the only thing that you can.
Like the SD.
All right, let's look at what you came up with. And then if I get a chance, I'll hand out some more. All right, so if we look at the first one, what kind was number one? Single. So oxidation numbers, +2, -3, +1. So you switched AG and CA. So AG is with PO4, and then CA is by itself. Putting in our oxidation numbers, +1 minus 3, bring the 3 down. Ca gets nothing. Okay? So balancing, you have 2 PO4s, 2 PO4s, 6 silvers, 6 silvers, 3 calciums, 3 calciums. Number 2. Huh?
It makes it seem so easy.
Right, you're just like that.
I got the second one.
Okay, so when you look at the second one, this is for Devontae. All right? A lot of people look at this and see it as single displacement, which you did because you missed it all while you were back there doing the quiz. Okay? When you start trying to do weird stuff and get these big weird oxidation numbers, that should scream to you it's probably not single displacement. Okay? When you see carbon and hydrogen plus oxygen is combustion, you don't have to do anything. The two products are simply CO2 plus water, and you're done. Okay? All you have to do is balance it. How many C's do we have?
5.
So we put a 5. How many H's? So we put a what?
6.
So we get how many O's?
10.
Plus 6 is,
16.
8.
wow. All right, we had 10 plus what again?
6.
10 plus 6 is 16. How do I get 16?
8.
8. Okay, that sounded a little better. All right, so in the last one, it's what kind of reaction? Double displacement. So SB has a +5, O is a -2, AL's +3, and BR's -1. So like we said yesterday, you can switch either the two positives or you can switch the two negatives. You choose. I switch the positives. If you prefer to switch the negatives, you switch the negatives. So when I do it in my head, I'm switching AL and SB. But if you prefer to switch O and BR, you switch O and BR. So I'm putting AL where SB is, so AL goes with O, and SB goes with BR. Now, no subscript came across because it have a polyatomic ion. Nope. Putting in my oxidation numbers all over again. +3 -2, so 2 and 3, +5 -1, bring my 5 down. I'm getting rid of all of those. Getting rid of all of these. And the balance. What you want to start with first?
Oxygen.
I would probably pick oxygen because it's got the biggest subscript, but you don't have to. I probably would, though. So 5 and 3. So I'm going to go with 3 and 5 and make 15 of each. How many SBs?
6.
So can I get 6?
Yes.
How many BRs?
30.
Can I get 30?
Yes.
10 ALs? 10 ALs. Any questions?
No.
All right. Now, to finish the day, we're going to begin decomposition.
Can we just put this on water?
Can we do what?
Can we just put this on the same?
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. Now, for decomposition, we're going to be dependent largely on that blue sheet. Okay? Now, this is where I said Caroline and Almija that they're in so much better shape than their parents because you guys get to use the blue charts. When their parents were in school, all that crap that's on the blue chart they had to memorize. Okay? All this stuff we're getting ready to use the formulas for to come up with the answers, their parents had to memorize. They had to know it off the top of their head and be able to quote it and use it. Okay? The reason that the state has changed that is how many of you have phones in your pocket? The vast own a phone and have it. Okay? If you wanted to know what a metallic chlorate decomposes into, you could simply Google it and find it. Most of you are not going to be chemists. If you need that information, you can find it. So the state is more interested in you being able to apply the information and use it than they are gross memorization. Okay? Now, I still know plenty of colleagues who still make their kids do it the old-fashioned way and they have to memorize it. Be thankful I'm not one of them. Okay? Yes, they teach in this county. Now, decomposition, you all know, is one compound and it breaks apart. Now, there are essentially two types of compounds we're going to deal with. Okay? The easy variety and the hard variety. Okay? Now, the easy type has 2 elements. And you can look this up on the chart also. I tend to think it's a waste of time, but you can look it up on the chart. Because remember, when you take the test next week, you only get an hour and a half. Colonel's not going to let you stay into third or into second period to take the test. So if you have something like let's just say MnCl5 with an arrow, okay? And it is going to decompose. What is the only thing that compound can do? Break apart, okay? What are the only 2 things it can break apart into? Exactly, okay? Everybody can look at this, and we all know that it's going to break apart. So the only things it can break apart into are Mn plus Cl. So all you have to do are check for diatomics. That's all you have to do. So are Mn or Cl diatomic? Yep. So you put a 2 on it, and then you're left to do what, Anthony? Balance the equation. Okay? And based on the quiz grades yesterday, I feel very comfortable in that we're able to balance equations. All right? So we have a 5 and a 2. So we would say 2, 5, and 2. Okay? That's the easy variety of decomposition. Okay? It's got 2 elements, breaks apart. Right? Now, the slightly more challenging variety. Okay? This is where we're going to depend on the blue sheet. Does everybody have what they need off the board? Okay? So, we'll call these the harder variety. It's not hard, it's harder. The harder type has 3 elements in it. And for those, we're going to use the reference table. Now, for some of you who have great memories, after we do this a few times, you're actually going to remember the patterns, and you won't need the table, okay? It happens every year. For some of you, you will never remember the patterns, and you'll have to look it up every time. There is nothing wrong with that, okay? So, if we have an equation such as NaClO3 with an arrow, how many capital letters are in there? 3. Okay? On the test, don't write this down unless you want to write it down as being the wrong answer. Some of you will write Na plus ClO3. And I will just take my pen and write -4. Okay? Because it's completely wrong. And a lot of you are going to do this. Okay? So, how are you going to do it so you get the right answer? Find decomposition. Okay? I want you to look at the whole column A through like J. I don't even remember how many letters it's got. It's got a lot under decomposition. A through F. Okay? So, which one does NaClO3 look most like under A through F? All right, and that says E. All right, she's got MClO3. What do y'all think about MClO3? Okay?
Do you mean like whether it's a metal or not metal, or whether it looks like the thing in the...
Like it looks like that. Okay? Now, basically what you're looking for is the M stands for metal, and these letters should line up. Okay? She has the right one. Okay? M is a metal. Cl lines up with chlorine. O lines up with oxygen. All right? Another way you can do it. What's the name of ClO3 if you look up on your polyatomic ions? ClO3. Chlorate. Okay? Now look at A through F again. Does one of them say chlorate? Metallic chloride. Okay, that's another way to check to make sure you have the right formula. Now, we're going to write, or I'm going to write, the formula right here. MClO3 becomes MCl plus O2. Now, we're going to take my equation and we're going to make it fit the formula. Okay? So what element is the metal? I write Na in its spot. Then I put what beside it? And then plus O2. I have one step left to do. I wrote a compound, right? So if I wrote a compound, what do I always do for compounds? Crisscross the oxidation numbers. Exactly. Now, in this case, it's +1 and -1. And I will tell you, about 50% of the time, they'll cancel out. So if you forget, roughly 50% of the time, you're going to be safe. All right? So, does it balance? What doesn't balance? The oxygens. There's 3 here, and there's 2 here. So if there's 3 and there's 2, what are we going to do? 2, 3, and then a 2. Questions? See how the sheet's going to be helpful for us?
Sure. I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Do we need to understand how that came to be? Like having like 2 oxygen on one side, 3 on the other?
Nope.
Or is that what the balance is?
That's what the balancing is for.
Okay.
That's just what happens in nature.
Last time with the ClO3, you told me that if it wasn't ClO3 on the other side to match it, then 3. Oh, no, that was if it was on the outside. Never mind.
Okay. All right.
Parentheses and all that?
You can, but because if you had parentheses here, it'd be fine. Doesn't require them, but if you had them, it would be A-okay.
But wouldn't that mess you up?
Nope. You still have to balance the O's separately because there's no ClO3 on the other side. So you still have to break it apart. Cl separate, O separate.
For the 3 types of elements, we will always be ClO3.
Nope. We get ready to do a different one. All right. Can we do a different one? It is. We're going to do a different one more, then we're going to talk homework. All right. Let's do K2CO3. All right. It's a different one. So which one does this look like out of A through? You hear which one?
Carbonate.
I hear B, carbonates. All right. So check and see if y'all agree with them. All right. Janae's just wrinkling her face up at me. You agree with them? Yes. All right. So if you look at, you look so sad. All right. If you look at carbonate is CO3. Okay. That has a CO3. So it is a carbonate. So I'm going to write the formula again right below it. It's MCO3 becomes MO plus CO2. So what goes in the M spot? With O and then plus CO2. Now, last step is to do what? Crisscross, okay? So we need to check the oxidation numbers. All right, so what's K? 1, and what's O? To bring your 2 down. So this is one where it does not cancel out, okay? So if you forgot that, odds are good it won't balance for you. So you would figure out you forgot something. All right, so how many Ks? How many Ks? How many Cs? How many Cs? How many Os? How many Os? It's balanced. Questions? All right, do we think we can do decomposition for homework, or I need to hold up on that one?
You'll have one by yourself.
Yeah? Now, mind if you fall asleep back there. Been going a while.
Can we rewrite it?
Rewrite it now.
Like MgO2H2?
Nobody does it that way, but I suppose. All right, because we don't have much time. What'd you come up with? Yep, MgO plus H2O. All right, this was MOH, and you get MO plus H2O. So you get plus 2 and minus 2, and they cancel, and then plus water. It's already balanced. Now, find your homework sheet from last night. Find last night's homework. Right? Because I'm convinced we need more practice on single and double split, first of all. So find last night's homework. Not the types. That one's done. The one that had the predictor. All right, turn to the back side. All right, last night's homework, back side. We're going to do the odd numbers. All right. Now we're going to do even. Let's do even. So 2 through 12 on the back side. Okay, and we're going to make this number 13 and number 14. All right, number 13 is C6H14 plus O2. And number 14 is, let's go SRCO3. And 15.
There's only 10.
Yes. There's only 10.
There's only 10 on that.
Okay, make it through 10. You got 3 more to add. Sure, snap a picture. I don't care.
And you even on the back.
Even on the back only.
So it's just
those 5 plus 3. That only gives you 8 questions to do. What are you doing? Behaving these days? No. No? Not bad. Drumline. Okay.
I didn't sleep that. Well, I just got here at 9 o'clock.
Over there.
Really smooth.
You did not have to say that like that.
Come here and eat now. Come here.
You probably need that little bit, right?
That was like super and yesterday.
Yeah, I was
and
gonna do the same thing, ABL.
I'm stressed.
I didn't hear anything. Elijah, you need to watch the video and get caught up. I got it for you. I haven't decided yet.
Class on that, you depressed.
I'm gonna have you depressed.
Just class.
I'm sorry.
Stressed.
That'll be depress you.
The math makes me depressed.
The good news is, after the week of homecoming, we will be out of math for 4 weeks or so. At Phoenix.
Why?
We'll change topics. Completely. It'll be a completely different concept and topic altogether. Whether you like it or not, we'll just have left it. Don't listen to Brooke. She didn't do a doggone thing.
It's the worst stuff I've ever had. I mean, it's hard.
That's why I hate
Physical science.